Hi friends, welcome to Arnav's World. Today is the 13th episode in the science series. So today we're going to discuss about solids, liquids and gases. So in the science, it is chemistry. So here we're going to discuss about these. So there are 4 different states of matter. So these are the 4 main states. So these are solids, liquids, gases and plasma. Yeah, so everything in the universe is in one of these states. Yes, so everything in the universe can be a gas, a solid, a liquid, or also a plasma state. Yeah, so states can change depending on the temperature and the pressure of an object. Yeah, so all pure substances can exist in all the 3 states common on the earth. So these main 3 states are solid, liquid and gas because they are very common on the earth, while plasma is a bit less common, being mostly thunder on the earth. The lightning which we see is this plasma only. Yeah. So, what state a substance is in is determined by how tightly its particles, which are atoms and molecules, are bound together. So, if they are very strongly bounded together, it is a solid, but if they are very weakly bounded together, it can be a gas. Yeah. So, when energy, which is mainly heat, if it is added tightly, particles in a solid just increase their vibration, making them less stable, making them into a liquid or a gas or any other state which is less loose than solids. Yeah, even plasma included. So, okay, with enough heat they start moving all around and the solid becomes a liquid. Yeah, so at boiling point, molecules start moving all over the place and the liquid becomes another one which is called gas. So plasma is a type of gas so hot that its atoms, there are no atoms, they are just nuclei and just random electrons floating around. Yes, that is just what is plasma. So now I'll explain how these matter just change from one state to another state of matter. So first I'll explain the solid. So I'll explain with ice. So this is ice, very cold. It also became water while taking this video. Yeah, water. So this is ice. So when a solid turns into a gas, it is called sublimation. Yes, that process is called sublimation. But if that solid turns into a liquid, it is called melting. That is what just happened here. This ice piece just melted into 1,000 water droplets. I think 1,000. Yeah, so the examples of both of these are, so sublimation, an example of sublimation is, there's an ice called dry ice. So this ice is not normal ice, it is not made of water, it is made of carbon dioxide. Yes, it is a different types of ice. So this dry ice will not turn into liquid, then gas, it will directly become a gas. While the example for melting is, of course, this thing what is happening here. It is melting into droplets and my hand is very cold. Yeah. So next is liquid. So liquid will turn into a solid in the process of freezing. If we just put this water in a fridge, it will turn into ice. That is what freezing is. And if it will turn into a gas, it is called evaporation. Yes, evaporation is very common. Yeah. So examples of this evaporation is, when we dry clothes out in the sun, they will just get a bit more hot and turn into a gas, and just they will go away with the sun and later turn into rain. Yeah, so that will happen in evaporation. And finally, it is the gas state of matter. So gas, when it turns into a liquid, this process is called condensation. And if it turns into solid, it is called deposition. So An example of condensation is if we place some cool water in a glass of any type of glass, there will be some droplets of water on it if we leave it out for some time. Because in air there are many water droplets. Not water droplets, water vapor. So water vapor is the gas form of the water. So this water vapor will condensate into a liquid on the bottle because that bottle is very cold. Yeah, so that is what condensation is. And the example of deposition is that ice, dry ice, the CO2 ice. So it can also turn back into a dry ice in some processes. Yeah. Now I will explain the 4 states which we are explaining today. So first is the solid states. So in a solid such as ice, particles are held together by bonds. Yes, they are held together by bonds and they are very tightly packed. Yes, very tightly packed. So an example of it is ice. The ice we saw it. So this ice is now very small because it melted while I was explaining the video. So okay, back here ice. So the particles vibrate slightly but they don't move a lot. Yes, they just sit there without moving a lot. So solids keep their shape. Yeah, that's why this board is just like this without moving like this or this like swings. Yeah. So this is the particles of the solid. So these blue dots in this cup, I think. So these are very tightly packed together. Yes, very tightly packed. Next is the liquid state. So the particles of liquid such as water, which in this are lots of water, and if you don't know this, the ice which melts, the water which comes from this ice is drinkable. Yes, but very cold. Yeah, you can drink it if you want to. So the particles of liquids such as waters are less tightly packed, but that means it is not as packed as the solids. It is not like very packed, but it is like this packed, like atoms are like this without just being next together. Yeah. So they are packed in a solid and are not neatly arranged. So they are not packed like in a solid. Yeah. So and they have weaker bonds, very weaker bonds. Yes, that's why water will just flow around everywhere if you spill it. Yeah, it will take the shape of any container. Yeah. Next is the gas state. So the particles of gas such as oxygen, which we breathe in, or the water vapor are not tightly held together by bonds. Sometimes they don't even have bonds. Yeah. So without these forces keeping them together, they just move freely and in any direction. So that's why gases and liquids are called fluids, because they can just move freely in every direction, up, down, right or left, anywhere. Yeah. So next finally is plasma. So plasma, which makes up the sun and all of the stars in the universe, is the most common matter in the universe. Yes, because these suns and stars are very big. That means that's why they are like very common in the universe. If you see every place, there will be plasma, floating plasma randomly in the sky. Yes, very big plasma. So, and also lightning is a type of plasma. It is a plasma. So intense heat make its atoms separate into positively charged nuclei and negatively charged electrons that just go around at very high speeds. So this plasma is different from all the solid, liquid and gases, because this is not made of atoms. It is made of the things which make up the atom, which are the nuclei, which is made of protons and neutrons, and these electrons, random electrons, which are normally just floating around in the space. So that is what plasma is. Yeah, so these are the matters. So, and now I'll just tell something. So the solid state. So here this is ice, the example we're taking. So water. So water has the melting point of 0 degrees Celsius. That means normal ice will melt into water if the temperature outside is more than 0 degrees Celsius. That's why that ice just melted into water. Yes, now that ice is no more, it's just water, drinking water. Next, the boiling point. So this boiling point is when water turns into a gas. So the boiling point of water is like not 10 degrees but 100 degrees Celsius. Yeah, so that's a lot of heat. That's why when you cook something, just steam will come out. And because that pan, the stove will be more than 100 degrees Celsius. Very, very hot. Yeah, so don't touch it. Your finger will be burnt, or the place which you touched it will be burnt, completely burnt. And one thing, plasma is different from every other ones. So normally in solids, liquids or gases, there will be different types. For example, in liquid there is oil and water. In solids there is stone and this board thing. And in gases there is water, vapor and oxygen. But in plasma everything is the same because it's just nuclei and electrons randomly going around. Yes. So, and also there are some subtypes of this plasma, like quark plasma, which is just made of quarks. So if you don't know, quarks are the things or the building blocks which make up protons and neutrons. Yes, yeah. So this is for today about these matter states of matters. Bye.